Hey everyone, it is Tuesday and you're watching TheRealvolution. This week we're talking about whether or not we let what other people think of us dictate how we are. I tried to word that really smoothly. Really what it comes down to though is, do we care what other people think of us? This isn't an easy, simple yes or no question, because yes and no. I do care and I don't care. Most of it depends on who it is. I do care about what the people I care about think of me, and depending on the situation or whatever it is, determines how I will let what they are thinking of me affect me. I'm talking family and close friends. I care what they think. Just because I care what they think, though, doesn't mean that what they say or think is going to completely affect how I am. Now, of course, it's human nature. We are going to be influenced by what others say of us. Let's say we're going through a period where we're just a complete asshole and our friend or our sibling or parent is like, look, you've been a complete prick the past 2 months. What's going on? You need to figure this shit out. Some people could be like, you know what, fuck you. I don't give a shit what you say. This is just how I am, blah, blah, whatever. I'm not talking about other people, I'm only talking about myself. So it'll make me step back and think, okay, what's going on? You like how I immediately am thinking about the worst or the negative aspects? Like, instead of thinking, oh, my friends and family, they think I'm awesome, and yes, I do care that they think I'm awesome. I think that's great. But the place that my mind goes to right away is the negative. Oh, what did I do wrong? Anyways, I do care. I also have a loud voice, a strong opinion, or I'm strong-willed within the dynamics of my friends and family, and so generally I won't just sit and let what someone thinks about me fester or overwhelm me. I'll wanna deal with it head on. I like how I can't stop thinking that I'm only thinking in the forms of catastrophe, you know? For example, when I was in beauty school, there was a period of time where I was slacking off and not giving a shit and not going to class and whatnot. One day, one of my aunts happened to catch me not attending school, and we got into a bit of a disagreement. She said, hey, you better shape up. You know, your grandmother would be really disappointed in you. And I was like, what? I didn't really respond that way. I did respond with, first of all, you don't know how she would be because she's dead, and you can't speak for the dead. That's not fair. Also, to say that specifically that someone who's dead would be disappointed in you, I just thought it was really shitty. So we had our words, we disagreed, we went our step away. But I kept thinking about it, and so I'm pretty sure it was that night I wrote her a letter and shared with her that just because she thinks the way that she's living her life and her viewpoints is the right way doesn't mean that it is the right way for everyone, that there is no right or wrong way to be or live your life. Everybody gets to define what success is for themselves, and I would appreciate if you stop pushing your lifestyle point of view type thing on me because I don't agree with you. So my point in sharing that story was that something arose, a family member shared how they were disappointed in me, and then I shared back with them how I felt. So what does that say about me? I like and tend to want to explain myself or my point of view. I don't know, it's just this inherent need that I want people to understand where I'm coming from. However, that wasn't the greatest situation because I was really angry. So it wasn't like I need to explain myself to you. It was like, let me tell you how you're wrong. Regardless, in that situation, I did care enough to want to clarify things and to share my point of view so that we could move past it. But I didn't let her disappointment in me or the supposed disappointment of my grandmother like dictate how I was going to act. I was still fucking up. So in a whole, when it comes to my friends and family and who I am as a person or how I'm being, I do care. I also will, you know, voice my opinion. I'm loud. Something else I want to talk about though is caring and not caring what other people think of my body. Knowing that I do care about what people I care about think, I do find it hard to think that the people that I care about think about what their opinion is of my body, or that they even have an opinion, because I don't understand why someone would care or really have at least a strong opinion about someone else's body unless they were lovers or wanted to be lovers, that wanted to touch that person. Then I could see caring about that person's body. With that said, when it comes to family and friends, I don't think that that really comes into play for me. Where it does is with dating or liking someone, having a crush on someone. I will think about what maybe their opinion is of my body, or if they even have an opinion. At some point in my life, I separated my mind and body when it comes to worthiness or being with people. A very specific moment was in junior high. I think I was probably in 7th or 8th grade, and one of my good friends made a comment to me that shook me a little bit. We were packing up our stuff from our science class to go to our next class, and he just looked at me and was like, you know, if you were smaller, I would totally date you. And I was just frozen, dumbfounded by what he said. I didn't know how it was affecting me, but you know when you get that rush of heatness over you and you don't know how to react, anxiety, adrenaline is going through you because you're like, what the fuck just happened? And I think he looked at me like, yeah, I would totally date you if you were a little bit smaller. He was thinking that it was a compliment, that he was paying me a compliment, and it blew my mind, and it stuck with me. It wasn't that one specific moment, but a series of different things happening that made me see or start to believe that I may be worthy for my mind or my personality, but my body is lacking. And so whenever someone shows interest in me, I question their motives, and it takes me a little bit to actually believe them. Even today I still have issues with that. I don't know how to completely unlearn that and move forward. Anyways, so clearly I do care what people think of me, and for various reasons. It depends on who it is and what it's about. It's not a easy yes or no. I don't give a shit what anyone thinks about me. There's a very big part of me that doesn't give a shit about what most people think of me. I also think that regardless of what anyone says, everyone at least cares a little bit about what someone thinks of them. They may not let it completely control them, take over their lives or how they decide to be, but we all care. We're influenced by what others think of us, good and bad. I also completely agree with everything Lisa said, especially when it comes to parents. I definitely think about wanting to make my parents proud all of the time. I think that that's a difficult subject because we're different people. What our parents think is great or what would make them proud or how they define success may be different from who we are as people, and so maybe those stars are never going to align, but you could try in other ways. Something that I'm always thinking about is when it comes to kids. I don't really see anywhere in my near future having children, and it kind of bums me out a little bit when I think about the fact that maybe one day I will have kids, but maybe it'll be too late for my kids to ever get to know my parents and for my parents to know my kids. Like, what if my parents want to be grandparents and none of their kids are having children? I feel a little bit bad about that. But does someone really want to have kids just to give their parents grandkids? I mean, that's fucked up. But it's a thought that I have. Sometimes I'll think, if I do have children, they're never going to know my grandmother, and that makes me really sad. And what if it's like that with my parents? So it's like, should I have children right now? I don't know. But I'm thinking about that in terms of being proud. Like, oh, look, you have this great, wonderful family that you've created. And I haven't done that. Anyways, that really is it for me for this week. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Leave comments below. Share your experience. Do you care? Do you not care? And I will see you next Tuesday.